ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday. And the start to this live stream was slightly less eventful than Saturday's, but not by much, because for some reason, I don't know why, I've got a couple of monitors on the go and my Mac decided that it wanted the other monitor to be the main monitor, which is about half the resolution of my main monitor, so it meant that everything on my main monitor was really big and pixelated because it was trying to make it the same resolution as the other screen. So fortunately, I've tried to work out how to fix it, with the settings and the system preferences, and it was just a case of turning off the computer and turning it back on again, and then it started working. But it took me about 15 minutes to sort it all out. So again, another eventful start to the live stream for me. Of course, for you guys, hopefully this is working and you can see everything on screen, and I'm just checking that the mic's working. That's the other big news, is that I've moved the microphone onto the other side, because it was on this side, and because I haven't been playing the guitar for about 7 months because of my problem with my arm, and now I can start to play guitar again slowly but surely. I did a video at the weekend on Eric Clapton where we kind of got into what he was playing, but also the fact that they had then auto-tuned his voice. And some people said that they were trying to see where I was, fretting the notes with my left hand, but then they couldn't see it. And I don't really approach the videos from that angle of, being an instructor or trying to, do an instructional video for the particular song. But I do realize that some people do watch them for that particular reason. Anyway, they said that they couldn't see my hand because the mic was in the way. And it's just the fact that, because that is the first, I think, proper guitar video that we've had where we did quite a lot of work on the fretboard, on the acoustic, and broke some things down. And I didn't realise that, when I came to do the edit, that you couldn't see the left hand. So I've moved it over to the other side. The only problem now is, it's okay for the analysis videos, but when I want to go and type something, it's going to get in the way of my right hand trying to get to the keyboard. So I'm going to have to try and figure out another way. It's because I've got the keyboard that you type on, but I've got my USB keyboard to the right hand side that you play. So that's slightly in the way. At the moment, the microphone is almost resting on the top of it. It's probably not very good that it's that close, but I'm going to have to try and figure out another reason. Ideally, I need to try and find a little bit more height so that I can have the mic maybe down. I'm going to have to figure that out. But anyway, let me get you guys up on screen and see if we can actually get the live chat room going. And there we have it. But on my screen, for some reason, it's not showing up properly. So let me click on that, I think, and there we have it. So we have Corey and Deborah and Linda and Bob's in there, Tom, Anna, Dwayne, Lisa, Judy P, Pamela, Billy's in there as well, Lisa, Carla, Suzanne and Carla is just about to go through moderating. So hello guys, thank you for joining me on this Tuesday night. A few requests over on Patreon for We Can Fall Down to start the live stream, so thank you guys for those. Let me get everything up on screen while I'm mentioning Patreon. The names of my patrons that go across at the bottom of the screen throughout all of the live streams. As you guys know, they are the foundation of everything that I do, so a massive thank you to you guys. You know who you are, for all of your support over on Patreon, but also in these live streams and the very kind donations that do come through. But as I always say, you don't have to donate. Just joining me on the live streams is great, and just watching the channel in general and hitting the thumbs up and maybe leaving a comment is great as well. Now, talking about comments, because the last video that I did was one that got quite a lot of views, that one where I was playing the guitar and we were looking at auto-tune and Eric Clapton, and the fact that it was just crazy that they put auto-tune on his voice. Some people said, it wasn't a lot of people, but some people said, oh, give him a break, but they said, oh, he's like 77 years of age, but this is for his 70th birthday celebrations. That was his gig at the Royal Albert Hall that I was looking at. So he was 70 at the time, but he's singing an octave lower, and one person actually compared Eric Clapton singing an octave lower than the original to David Coverdale not being able to hit the notes for Whitesnake. So I let the person know that if David Coverdale had to hit the notes an octave below where he did originally, I'm sure he'd be fine. It's because he's still singing these songs in the same key, hitting these C5s and D5s and E5s. You know, I think on Still of the Night there's like a G5 in there, maybe an A5 or something crazy. You know, it's way up there in the countertenor range. So to say that, oh yeah, David Coverdale can't do it, so Eric Clapton, you know, is using auto-tune so that he can do it. It's not that. He's literally singing in his talking range, Eric is, in that song. So it's just funny how some people do comment thinking that it's because Eric can't sing anymore, but generally, as you age, the thing that you lose is flexibility in your vocal cords, which means that you might lose range and you might lose some control. But it just depends on the singers. You know, some singers retain control throughout their career, and if they just keep on exercising their voice, I think a lot of it is to do with not using the vocal cords as much as they used to, because as you get older, you tend to not be performing as much and not using your voice as much. And you might do a show now and again, but it's certainly not night after night after night after night when a record label is trying to push a new album. So yeah, generally the older you get, kind of the more time you have between your vocal sessions. But yeah, the traits of the voice do remain, which is something that I mention in the comment sections all the time, or the comment section on the videos where we're looking at, you know, singers, comparing them to when they were younger and maybe a more recent performance. But certainly somebody who uses their vocal cords a particular way will not change the way they use them. They might get a different response from their vocal cords due to age, but the way that they approach their singing doesn't change. They just do that inherently, subconsciously. So those are the things that you can start to compare to their younger performances. But then, you know, we had Shirley Bassey, who is still just with exactly the same vocal technique, same vibrato, same control. So yeah, just amazing to listen to that and check out that recent analysis video. I say recent, it's probably a few months ago, but anyway, let's get organized with this live stream and get some stuff up on screen, because we just have the live chat room at the moment. And let me make sure that everything that I want to show is going to be on screen when, I don't know why this has all disappeared, but I know that sometimes, actually all the time, the donations disappear as soon as we go live, but I've lost the screens that I usually look at and how they are organized. So first of all, let me get the live likes or the likeometer up on screen to see where we're at with that, because once I've got that up on screen, we can now look at the likes go. That was really close to a hair in the mouth situation. And I am in need of a haircut, I think. Well, certainly judging from tonight's fringe. But it's because it's warm as well. We're still going through this heat wave here in the UK. I'm not sure how long it's going to last for. But it's still, you know, 22 degrees, maybe something higher than that. It's been about 30 degrees or more, which is 90 degrees Fahrenheit or a little bit more than that. So you guys who deal with Fahrenheit will know that it's probably not very hot for people that live in hot countries, but here in the UK, that is really hot for us. So it is still, yeah, over 20 degrees, which means that over 20 degrees during the day here would be considered as quite warm, but it's that temperature at night. So anyway, getting back to having a hair in my mouth, I'm getting a little bit more volume to the hair, because that's just the way that it works. The warmer it is, the bigger the hair gets, and there's nothing that I can do about that, unfortunately. And that's what you'll see in some of the videos, where especially that opening video, because that was in the studio, and obviously the doors are closed, and all of the heat, I had lights going, I had a smoke machine that I forgot to set off during the performance, but that's neither here nor there. It was so hot that the hair just kept getting bigger and bigger from the start of the performance to the end. So that's something that happens with temperature, but hopefully things will be all right, and that'll be the last of the hairs trying to make it into my mouth. But if it happens, it happens. As long as the worst thing is when you inhale and there's a hair that's just waiting to get into your mouth and it goes to the back of your throat. And yeah, that would be end of live stream. That would be game over. I'll probably be coughing for about 10 minutes, but we got away with it. So anyway, let's keep on track with the live stream. Huge shout out to the moderators, by the way. Their names are in blue in that live chat room, and they do such a fantastic job throughout these live streams. So a huge thank you to you guys. And I can see that Susan and Dennis are about to go through, and great example there of the moderators' names being in blue and them having a wrench next to their names as well. And Neil is going through there as well. I can see Lisa W said, get some hairbands. I think that said, I do have hairbands, but yeah, I don't use them when I have I don't know how you would hairband the hair unless you'd kind of just stop these bits from going, but then that'd look a bit stupid. Just like having just loads of, I'd start to look a bit like a beetle maybe. Not like an insect beetle, I mean an actual real life band member of the Beatles who never quite made it into the band. But so that's the kind of fringe that I've got going on at the moment. So heat causes Beatles hair. Anyway, thank you for the donations, by the way, that have come through. Just before we went live, I am just going to jump into, I think, one that came in before, or there might be more than one. Oh, here we go. It is, Orlando, who donated $2. Thank you for that, Orlando. And the message was, spike the likes, with lots of thumbs up. And then we have Paul, who is backing up Orlando again with a $2 donation. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message is, spike the likes, all y'all. Orlando's backup guy, with a thumbs up. So thank you for that, Paul. And when Paul and Orlando donate, we have a little plug of the mug, and it says spike the likes on it. And that's always the link. Orlando says spike the likes. Paul says spike the likes. Great idea, by the way. If you want to hit that thumbs up, it would be massively appreciated. We are aiming for 310 likes for tonight. I think that's what it says on the screen. So we are at 188 just as it flipped over there. So maybe we can get a spike of the likes at 18 minutes past midnight here in the UK. If you want to get your hands on a mug so that you can have your favourite beverage in there at any point, any time. It doesn't matter. You don't have to just use it for the live streams. You can head to the tray underneath this video and click on anything in there. It'll take you through to the spring.com store. And if you don't have a tray underneath this video, then you can go to the description in this video. The description below has got the link to the spring.com store, so you can head over there, as well as having the PayPal donations. Let me just get the percentages thing up on screen, but the PayPal donation address is in the description below. You don't have to donate, as I always say, but if you can't resist, then 35 to 45% goes to YouTube if you do it through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal if you do it through that PayPal link in the description. But as I said, you don't have to, but if you can't resist, just so you know the percentage breakdown, because I think it's important to know where your money goes and for you guys to know that as well. So let's jump into, I think, the super chat window before we went live. There was another one that went through there, and it's from Jennifer, who has donated $6. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And the message is, Phil, whose voice was the hardest to do justice to for any cover song you ever did? Which one took the longest to learn? Thanks. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And this is just something that I pretty much approach it, or, you know, when I was doing the cover videos, just approach it on its own merit. Like, just whichever song is next, I then try to learn how to sing it and how best to hit the notes. I think that if I was trying to sing it in exactly the same way as the person who did it originally, then I'd probably be onto a loser straight away, because you'd then be trying to use your voice to, I don't know, it's like imitate rather than just do a cover and use your own voice, which is something that I'm a big fan of. Just using my own voice and not trying to copy the way that somebody else has done it. I think if you approach it that way, then it's going to obviously sound different, but it means that it's going to sound, unique. And if you just use your natural voice, then you can't really go wrong with that. It's when you try and imitate somebody that a lot of people will then compare what you're doing to what they did. And it means that, you're going to fall short because there's only one of the person and they already exist and there's no point in trying to copy them. So, yeah, it's one of those things that I just kind of approached each cover my own way. And I would say probably the most challenging one from a range perspective was probably either the Dokken tracks or... In My Dreams, that's got a fair amount of range in it. Late on the Line, that was another kind of huge one, range-wise, just getting the top notes in there, because it's going to be the high notes that in the harmony lines that you've got to try and sing as well. So it's just one thing to be able to hit the notes when you're singing the main melody, but then actually backing yourself up and having to hit a higher note than you did on that main melody in the backing vocals. That was always, really a challenge. So you definitely have to warm up your voice and get ready to hit some crazy notes. But I'd say that those are the ones that stick out. Maybe Hotel California was one of those that I wanted to try and make sure that I approached it just in my own way, because I know that, people are obviously going to draw comparisons, not only with the vocal, but with the guitar. So with the guitar, I did make sure that I got it relatively similar, or played a lot of the lines that people would recognize. And I think when you're playing something like that, people are always waiting to hear the guitar as it is on the original, and that you can't just go and play through your own solo, because people will say, oh, well, what about the, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. People listening to Hotel California, they never say, oh, yeah, the song's good, but I always turn it off before the guitar solos, just keep it the same. So that's what I did on that particular one. But still, vocally, I just did it, my own way, just how my vocal cords work, because, I've just about figured out how to use my vocal cords to get away with singing. I've definitely not figured out how to use them to then sound like somebody else when I sing. So I think it's just, the lesson for me is to just approach it in my own way, and it's something that I do suggest to other people. If they are going to do a cover, just approach it in your own way, use your voice, and it'll sound unique, it'll give it a different spin, and therefore it will be interesting to listen to, because I'm pretty sure people don't want to listen to a cover that's just exactly the same as the original, because you'd go and listen to the original. Now, mentioning the covers, I can see that there are some happy birthdays going through. So it looks like Xena. It is Xena's birthday today. So happy birthday to you, Xena. And thank you guys for saying a happy birthday in that live chat room. I can just see it going through. So yeah, if you haven't said happy birthday to Xena Warrior, then say happy birthday in that live chat room. Right, let's see where we're going to go with tonight's live stream. First of all, we've got the likes goal, which, I'm looking at it, we're almost 100 off. And I quickly wanted to mention that because it's easy for me to work out the maths when it's almost 210. And there it is, perfect timing. We're looking for 100 more thumbs up. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up so far. If you haven't done that yet, that would be much appreciated, so that we can hit our target of 310 tonight and have a pick roulette next week. That's what happens if we do hit that target. So it just happened to be a very good time to have a look at that likeometer. Right, now I think we're up to date with the donations in that super chat window, so thank you for those. And Stardust Unicorn came in and donated $5 as well. Support band to Wings of Pegasus, as I always say, and that was a straight up donation as well, so thank you for that. And Scott has donated $5, and Scott says, perfect timing here, hey Phil, can you wish Xena Warrior happy belated birthday, July 3rd? We really love your shows. Thanks, man. So thank you for that, Scott. And yes, happy birthday. to Xena again. I hope you had a fantastic day. And people always ask when you have a birthday, oh, do you feel any older? And I don't know whether it's just me, but yeah, I don't feel any older. I think pretty much, I don't know what age. I think everybody has a particular age where they get to, and then you don't feel like you're getting any older from that point onwards. And I don't know whether, I mean, there might be some people who might feel older because they find doing things more difficult, or they get out of breath when they're running and these kinds of things. But because I've had this arm problem for a while, so maybe if I get back to working out, I'll suddenly feel like, oh, I'm getting older and I can't do what I used to do. But yeah, at the moment, I think obviously everyone's getting older. I'm older now than I was when I started the live stream. That's the beauty of age. But I think my brain pretty much stopped at, I don't know, maybe 27 or 28 years of age. You feel like you get to a certain point, and then it's just the same brain in this, this capsule that we're all inside, that I think is quite important to try and keep or maintain to a decent standard so that it lasts you as long as it can. But certainly it'll be interesting to see in the live chat room, what age people think they have stopped at. I mean, mentally. Because another interesting thing that I saw on TV was the way that we age, and that some people age at different speeds. So it means that somebody who is, my age, and, I don't want to give it away, but I got a big birthday next year. So somebody that's my age could look older or could you look younger. But I think from people that I see on TV, even some people that say, oh, I'm 35, and that's kind of considerably younger than me, but they might look like they're about 40 or 45 because their bodies are aging at a different speed. And it's something I do find quite interesting, because just of the fact that I don't really feel too much different year on year, but then some people that you might have seen 5 years ago and then you see them now. I mean, most of the videos we watch of my cover songs and, pretty much everything is at least 5 years old. So sometimes, you'll meet somebody and it's only 5 years later, but they've gone through a dramatic change. And it's just interesting how people's bodies are aging at different speeds, and I think it's something that isn't necessarily understood, that you can have somebody that lives a lot older looking younger, and vice versa, that people might live for a shorter amount of time because they are literally getting old faster. So they might pass away at age 75 or something, and somebody who's been aging more slowly might live to 95 or 100 or 105 or something crazy like that. So yeah, obviously it's something I find these kinds of things very interesting, but don't know anything about them. But it is interesting for me when I'm looking at different people and ages, and when you see somebody and then they tell you their age, and then you're kind of taken aback as to their age because it doesn't really match their appearance, whether that be they look older than they are or they look younger than they are. Really interesting stuff. Anyway, we talk about lots of things on the live stream, but aging and the speed of aging is something that I don't think we've spoken about before. But we will continue on and age together throughout this live stream, and hopefully we'll all make it through to fight another day until the next live stream. But anyway, thank you, Scott, for that donation. And Lisa A has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Lisa. And the message is, evening, Phil, do you have you ever played the banjo? Does having the ability to play guitar transfer over to the banjo? So thank you for that, Lisa A. And yes, well, I haven't played a banjo, but most certainly the muscle memory will just move over to that. It's a stringed instrument. Once you've played guitar, then a lot of the muscle memory, a lot of the technique carries over to other instruments. You can even, Roy Clark is a great example that anything with strings on, he could play to a very high standard. So that's including fiddle or violin, depending on where you're from or what you want to call it. But having that muscle memory is still there. I mean, playing violin is going to be the exact same muscle memory as playing the guitar, but the only thing is that you're just rotating your hand round a little bit more. So same thing. I mean, it's why guitarists can play bass guitar as well, because it's just strings. Obviously they're a lot thicker. You might have to adjust your technique a little bit, but you can get away with playing bass and just playing, you know, simple kind of fifths and octaves to get away with that. And that's certainly something that I do. And then maybe an occasional pentatonic shape thrown in for a little fill. But this is the thing that, yeah, all of that will cross over. And a lot of banjo players then move over to playing guitar so that they can, you know, accompany themselves with fingerstyle guitar, and generally that's what they kind of get into. But also, you know, flat picking. So yeah, I mean, flat picking, by the way, is when you just use a pick to get the sound of playing with your fingers, that fingerstyle finger picking technique. So it's something I haven't played, but a lot of the technique would cross over. And I have played, obviously, fingerstyle, as you guys will know, when I'm doing the acoustic videos sometimes. So I think some of that will cross over. What I would probably have to do is stick on some finger picks, which are, because I haven't grown out my nails, and it's not something that I do because I still want the ability to tap onto the fretboard. If I had long nails on my right hand, it meant that when I was tapping onto the strings, I wouldn't be able to get the sound that I want. So yeah, for my own particular playing style, I prefer to keep the fingers on my right hand short. But if I was playing banjo, then I would put finger picks on, which are just metallic picks that attach to your fingers. You just slide them on, and then it means that it's effectively like having a really long nail on each finger. So then you can start to, you know, do little rolls and, you know, different sequences with the right hand without having to grab the string first and then pluck it. So that's something that when you're playing with the flesh of your fingers, you can't just move your finger up and catch the string, because you've got to give the string potential energy first by giving it a little bit of a pinch, and then you've got to let go of the string. So it's almost a two-phase process to pick a string, because you've got to grab it first and then, you know, pluck it. Whereas when you've got finger picks on, you can just move your finger in a direction and it's going to inadvertently hit the string as it goes past. So yeah, that is something that I do. But anyway, let's not get too deep into all of the techniques, but they will cross over. Thank you for that donation, Lisa. And Orlando's donated $2. Thank you again. The message is, happy birthday, Xena Warrior Princess. So thank you for that, Orlando. And Jennifer has donated $5. Again, thank you for that, Jennifer. The message is, Phil, as long as you don't hurt all the time or lose someone you love, you will look young. I did till then. People thought I was 5 years younger. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And yeah, I think that, yeah, probably stress has a lot to do with it as well, because, yeah, I mean, when you're stressed out, everything starts to, you know, potentially go wrong with health, and your whole, what's the word that I'm trying to think of? It's, I don't know, I was just about to say the word, your immune system. I was just about to say, yeah, immune system, and then for some reason it just went out of my head. But yeah, I mean, that lowers with stress. And this is the other thing about, you know, regular exercise and trying to keep your body in shape and just giving your body kind of what it needs, but having, you know, a fit, healthy body, I think also helps to offset some of the effects that can happen with stress as well. In fact, a lot of people go to the gym to get rid of stress because it releases, you know, natural endorphins, which makes you feel a bit happier. And I think it's that double effect that when people go to the gym, they feel happier because they're just feeling a bit better because their body's now becoming more efficient. But just the double effect of, if you go to the gym and say that you've got issues that you might have, body image issues, where you don't like the way that you look, whether you're too skinny or you're overweight. For skinny guys, and this is actually something that happens to a lot of bodybuilders, that they used to be very skinny as teenagers, and therefore they might have had the mickey taken out of them and said, oh, you're just, almost invisible because you're so skinny. And I used to be very skinny when I'm not exactly big now, but I used to be, very, very slight when I was younger. So then I started working out to try and put on some muscle, and I kind of stopped at the point where I was kind of playing soccer and got to a certain point with my exercise where I was just naturally putting on the amount of muscle mass that I could, and I wasn't then pushing it any further than that. And when I say about bodybuilding, obviously that requires some extra help from substances in order to get the muscles to grow beyond their natural capability. So I didn't go that far, but a lot of bodybuilders do have that in their past, that they were very skinny and they therefore have this desire to get bigger. But anyway, back to that double effect of going to the gym. It means that, not only is it naturally going to make you feel better, but then when you start looking at yourself and you can see the results of what you're doing, that's the double effect of now you're feeling more confident in yourself. But anyway, yes, thank you for that, Jennifer. And we won't start talking about exercise and everything like that, and diet. We've spoken about that on previous live streams, and it is a bit of a rabbit hole that we start going down. But thank you for the donations. I can see that Looby-Doo has donated $3 as well, with the big thumbs up in that super chat window, so thank you for that. Right, we do have a vote going on. It's almost 20-1 in the morning already. So I don't know where the time goes. I mean, just generally in life, I can't believe we're in July already. It seems like the year has just started, but already halfway through it. So, and already more than halfway through this live stream, is it? Yeah, probably. So, thank you, Looby-Doo, for that. And I think that's the first time we've seen that username in the super chat window or in the live streams. And if you are new to the live streams, just say hello, introduce yourself. That's how we all started out, including myself. Just, say hello. And then, by the way, everybody else will say hello to you, but you can get joined. You can get joined in, or you can... You can get joined in, or you can... I'm trying to find a way of figuring out what my brain was about to say, because you can be joined in doesn't make any sense. Anyway, you can join in over on Facebook if you are a Facebook user. On the Wings of Pegasus supporters group, just head over there, click on join in order to join that group, and then that's where a lot of these lovely people hang out between the live streams, and that's where Vince hosts the after party after these live streams on a Tuesday and a Saturday. But I was going to mention the vote that we've got going on for tonight's cover video, because it is between a Free Falling and a Design for Life. So I think it tends to always be the case that whenever we have Free Falling as an option, I think there must be a lot of Tom Petty fans, because it's always a whitewash. It seems to always go quite a lot in that direction. It's 67% by the look of it in the vote at the moment. So we're probably going to be calling that to a close relatively soon. So if you want a Design for Life and you haven't, clicked on that, I don't know whether it's a thumbs up that you click for one, or whether you just click on the name, because I haven't been on the other side of the vote, so I don't know what it looks like in the live chat room. I can just see the one that is in the lead, which is Free Falling at 67%. So if you want a Design for Life, make sure you vote for that one. Right, and we're at 250 likes, so we are 60 away from our total that we're aiming for tonight. If you can hit that thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. It really does help this live stream to get out there and for the channel to grow on the whole. And if you're watching this on catch up in the future, you're part of that catch up crew, then you can still hit the thumbs up, and it all does count. Every single little click on that thumbs up. Make sure you only click it once though, because if you do a double click, it counts and then it doesn't count, because it undoes it. So that's what I see. Sometimes the likes go up and then they go down again, because people are very excited to hit that thumbs up. So We are going to be having that pick roulette tonight, so stay tuned for that. In relation to the Moises app that I mentioned on Saturday, we have some year-long subscriptions to give away, and those, what I was thinking of doing is maybe having on the pick roulette wheel just a spin for everybody to then potentially win that year's subscription to the Moises app. And when I say the year's subscription, it's to have the premium subscription, so it unlocks everything in the app. Because I was thinking that if you've got all of the names on the wheel, even if you win it and you're not a musician, or you won't find a use for it, it's something that you can give to somebody else. So say that you want to give a musician or anybody that might play the guitar, or they're practicing, they're learning to play an instrument, or they're learning to sing, and you think that they might like to remove the vocals from a song so that they can sing the vocal on the song, just for practice or for doing their own covers, all that kind of stuff. If you know somebody who you think might like the app, then you can give it to them as a gift. So I was thinking it probably makes more sense just to spin the wheel again, and whoever it lands on will win that. And all I need from them is an email address that is then given over to Raphael at Moises, and then he gives them the premium subscription to that app, which means that they can use all of the functions for a year, and they'll get all of the updated content, any new features that become available, they'll get all of those as well for 12 months. So that's that's what I was thinking of doing. I thought I'd mention it on the live stream just in case people say, oh no, that's a really bad idea, you should have a separate wheel for the Moises app. But I think maybe if it's something that can be given to somebody else, then it doesn't seem to me like there's any need for a separate wheel. We'll just do 2 spins, and I'll make it very clear that the second spin can be for the Moises app. But maybe we'll start that on Saturday. I thought I'd just mention it today. Maybe you guys over on Patreon can let me know what you think, whether you're quite happy to be on the wheel to win that premium subscription, and if you do win it, whether you think it's a good idea to give it to somebody else, maybe a friend or a colleague or somebody who you know might get some use out of it, because there's so much that you can do with it. Anyway, let's keep on keeping on with tonight's live stream. I think what we might do is I can see on that vote that it hasn't shifted. Free Falling is still in the lead, but what I do want to do is quickly just address the donations that came in on PayPal before we went live, and there was one that came in from Tammy, and it was at 10:05, so thank you for that, Tammy. And let me get this on screen so you guys can see it as well. Just going to scroll down because the message is, "Hi Phil, what is it about music that makes you feel passionate? Rock." So thank you for that. And that's a question that I don't know the answer to. If I could put my finger on what makes me passionate about music, then I might be able to understand why other people are passionate about particular kinds of music, and therefore I could just write lots and lots of songs that everybody would feel really passionate about, and or just have multiple hits on my hands. So and it's not something that I can put my finger on. I just like music, and it's something that just gets me energized. It's something that really piques my interest on a professional level, looking at top artists and singers and guitarists and see what they do, how they achieve their sound, and what makes them unique. All of these things I do find that interesting, and I think it's pretty much just the same question that not that I can play golf at the moment because of my arm, and I won't be able to for quite a long time, but why do I like playing golf? Because to some people, they think that's the most ridiculous thing, trying to hit a little ball into a hole that's miles away. What's the point? And it's the same with soccer, because I know that soccer, or football as we call it here in the UK. I played it to quite a high level, but I know that it's the equivalent of throwing a ball for a dog. It's the human version of that. We like chasing the ball and making the ball go where we want it to, so that the other person can't stop the ball from going where we want it to go. So, fundamentally, it's, a bit silly. You think, well, what's the point? It's just like a dog chasing a ball, because the dog is seeing the ball and he's controlling the ball. He wants to grab it in his mouth. Anyway, why do I, love playing football and love watching football? You can't really put your finger on it as to why. Maybe it's something to do with your upbringing, but then again, my first experience of football, I didn't enjoy, so then I didn't want to play it when I was a kid, but then I started playing it again when I was maybe 10 or 11 years of age. So, initially I didn't like it, but then I did like it. And music is something that, I've always liked and been into, especially playing the guitar. So I think probably with guitar, I was always into music, and for some reason I knew that I understood music. Like, even just rhythmically, I could tap my finger or nod my head along in time with the song. And when I then was at school and one of my friends was doing drums and he couldn't do it, so at that point I realised that I was understanding something that this person who was having drum lessons couldn't. And I wasn't having drum lessons, but I could still pick out where the snare was on 2 and 4, even though I didn't know it was 2 and 4, but I could click along or tap along on the table, and this other person, they couldn't get where that was. So I knew that I understood whatever this noise was in more detail than somebody else, and it just piqued my interest, and I guess that's where it started. But as to why I'm passionate about it, I think that's a question everybody can ask about. Why do some people love fishing? Fishing is something that I just don't get myself, just sitting there, maybe from a relaxation point of view, but I think I just wouldn't be able to sit in the same place for that amount of time. I've got to be doing something. So that's something that I don't understand, but it's something that some people love to go fishing. So what it is about that, I don't know, but that's what is great about the world. We are all different, and whatever you love, somebody else will love the exact opposite version of whatever that is. So that's just the way the world is. But I just found that music I've got a passion for, and I think sport as well to a lesser extent, but certainly something that I do find very interesting to watch, like tennis, F1 as well, even though that takes ages to watch. I generally just watch the highlights because I don't have time to sit down and watch a whole race. But I've got all of the highlights of, I think I'm pretty much up to date with the Austrian Grand Prix. I think that was the last one. So again, why am I into that? I don't know. But I do like watching F1. And I think it probably comes back all the way to when I used to play computer games and racing games and Gran Turismo and all of that stuff. And I had the steering wheel and the pedals, and it was very much into getting the fastest lap time I could and trying to find any milliseconds within the track. I guess it's analysis and it's problem solving as to how you can improve and be better. So that's something that I did find interesting. Anyway, thank you for that, Tammy. I'm gonna have to be a little bit quicker with my answers, but thank you, Marilyn, as well, who has donated £50. Thank you for that, Marilyn. A very kind donation. The message is, hi, Phil and everyone. Can't stay, but here's a little something for whatever you need. Phil, I'm in such a good mood on this full moon. Hope y'all are too. Let the good times roll. So thank you for that, Marilyn. And yes, it's all good here. It is borderline too hot, but I think it's pretty much okay. If it was getting up towards 30 degrees in the evening, then we would definitely have a problem. But at the moment, everything seems to be okay. With a live stream, hopefully, fingers crossed, we haven't, tempting fate here, but we haven't had any gremlins yet. I can still see we are on screen. We're loading. We are being heard as well. The microphone's working. So thank you for that, Marilyn. I'll move on before everything totally disconnects. Maria has donated £1.61. Thank you for that, Maria. And the message is, hi, Phil and everyone. Phil, what do you like to eat when it's hot? Spike those likes, everyone. So, I mean, it is hot at the moment, and I just eat pretty much exactly the same stuff as I eat before, because, I mean, I'd love to have things like ice cream and, you know, like icicles, like, which is like frozen drink. I don't know, I think that's what they're called. But all of these treats that you have when it's hot, it generally tends to be like, you know, cold coffee and that kind of stuff, iced tea, which I'd love to have as well. But generally, all of these things have a high amount of sugar in, and I can't have a lot of sugar. That's something that my body doesn't really deal with. So I just have the same stuff. Generally, my diet, I would say, is very strict. I just eat the same kinds of things, you know, day in, day out. I sometimes have a treat of fast food once a week, but having said that, I haven't had fast food in over 2 weeks now. So yeah, I've just been eating my normal kind of thing, because I know which foods work for me and which foods don't work for me. So that's why my diet is kind of strict. If I could just eat anything, if my body could just digest everything absolutely fine without any side effects, then yeah, I'd probably have more ice cream, certainly in the hotter weather. I'd definitely have iced tea. I'd probably have the, you know, iced coffees, but then probably, you know, trying to find a good one will be quite difficult. So yeah, I'd probably start having all that sugar. But then again, you start to have that, you know, insulin problem, and you might get diabetes, all those kinds of things. So I think actually the fact that I've got to watch what I eat and not have too much sugar is probably a good thing in the long run, because it means that ultimately I'm not getting towards that risk factor of having diabetes and yeah, having a problem with the amount of sugar in my system. But anyway, thank you for that, Maria. But yeah, so I just eat the same stuff. I'm really boring. I remember McDonald's used to have they probably already actually do them. They called it like a frappe, something like that. I'm not sure whether I'm saying it correctly, but it was like a caramel or a coffee type drink that was made from ice and coffee, and it was really nice. So what I used to do is I would limit my sugar intake all the way up to the point at which I was then going to have one of these drinks. So then I'd pretty much have my week's worth of sugar in just that one drink, because it was, yeah, so nice. I couldn't resist having it. The problem that I had was that I had it once, because then I thought, oh, you know, you get that craving for it again. And that's another thing that I find. The more sugar you have, the more you crave sugar. So that if you have a day where, say for example, with your coffee, you have some chocolate or a chocolate biscuit, the next day you have a coffee and your body says, oh, what about having a chocolate biscuit again? It kind of wants to have it again. Whereas, you know, I haven't had anything with my coffee now for probably months and months and months, whereas I can remember that I had that craving to have something sweet with my coffee, whereas I don't have that anymore because my body's got used to not having it. So yes, interesting how you can change your eating habits just by removing a food, and just make sure you've removed it, just one thing, and the next day you won't want it as much, and then the next day after that you won't want it even more or less. And then yeah, you can make a big difference actually if you just remove a chocolate biscuit from your diet just once a day for the week. I mean, a chocolate biscuit is like 100 calories, maybe more than that. So it means that over a week you're saving 700 calories, which is effectively like a store-bought pizza. So you've saved that every week. So that means you're saving 4 pizzas of eating a month. So yeah, just by cutting out one food a day, just a little treat like that, just a biscuit. Anyway, thank you, Maria, for that. And I did say I have to make my answers more more brief. That didn't happen. But thank you, Terry, for this as well. The £12.08 donation. That is a straight up donation. So thank you for that, Terry. And Dan has donated £4.03. So thank you for that, Dan. And the message is, hello Phil, what do you think of keyboard to guitar fretboard comparisons? I just bought a keyboard, still pretty new, but not lost. So thank you for that, Dan. And yeah, it's difficult because I went from playing guitar to then, trying to play keys. And yeah, for me, it wasn't an easy transition because, guitar was second nature to me. So then moving over to piano, it was a case of obviously just finding what I was doing on the guitar on the piano and just kind of getting used to it. So for me, it was a bit more of a learning curve. But once you know where your notes are, I think it also helps that learning to sing, generally people are always going to compare ranges and notes of when you're learning to sing to a piano. So when you're looking at your A4 and your B4 and your C5 and all of the ranges that I've shown on the channel in analysis videos for guys and girls, you have that on the piano. So it means that it was kind of a little bit easier like that. But for me, it wasn't a really natural progression, and this is something that isn't going to cross over when I talk about playing a stringed instrument. Then yes, you can do that on your fretboard, but now going to playing piano, it means that you don't have, like playing a bar chord on the guitar isn't going to help you playing a chord on the piano because you don't hold lots of notes with one finger. But exactly the same. I mean, there's the pros and cons to playing guitar, playing keys. You'll find that you don't have to fret a string on the piano. You just push down a key and it works. The right note will come out and it'll be in tune. So yeah, there's lots of different things to it, but it's just going to be a case of you just working your way through it. It is something that I would love more time. Well, everybody would just love more time in general for everything, but I love more time to have just spending on keys. But then I'd say the same about drums. I'd say the same about vocals and guitar. So it's just spending as much time as you can on it and trying relating what you know to the keys when you're playing. But yeah, just learning how to translate what you already know. That's always the most difficult part because it's a totally different instrument. But anyway, it's good to hear that you are broadening your horizons with instruments, and I hope that it all goes well. I'm just going to scroll up because Diana has donated £7.13. Thank you for that, Diana. And the message is, and there you have it, y'all. So thank you for that. Let me just scroll down. We are going to jump into the cover for tonight because I can see we're almost at 1 a.m. already. And we still have the pick roulette to go. So I'm going to end the poll. Can I click on it? Hopefully it's kind of hidden at the top of my live chat room. I think I got it. And I'm going to predict that it's going to be free falling. And it stayed at 67% all that time. So thank you for that. And 283 votes tonight. And 299 likes, almost at 300, which means we're looking for 11 more people to hit that thumbs up to have a pick roulette next week. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you for voting for Free Falling tonight, and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus and America too. She's a good girl, she's crazy about Elvis, loves horses and a boyfriend too. And it's a long day living in Reseda, and there's a freeway running through the yard. I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy,
And there we have it. That was my version of Free Falling. I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and thank you for voting for that in the poll. And to you guys over on Patreon, thank you for requesting that tonight, as well as a design for life, but Free Falling was the winner. And if you guys want to get involved yourselves, head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. That's where everybody requests the cover videos, and I always request some requests over there so that I have something to play on these live streams and that we can get a vote going and all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys for that. And over there is where I keep everybody up to date with what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis. Not only what's coming up in the future on the channel, but all of the analysis videos are linked to over there as well. And as I always say, if I wasn't on YouTube, or if I had to move from YouTube, that's where I would be. Patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, where you can message me directly if you want to for any particular reason. There's a guitar course on there as well, which is something that has been mentioned recently, and a few people are checking that out, so thank you guys for doing that. And for some reason, another thing that's happened recently, I don't know why, but maybe it's the hot weather, but I'm being asked about my t-shirt size quite a lot. And I mean, this t-shirt, I mean, this is a great example that I've had this AC/DC t-shirt for I don't know how long, but I can't remember wearing it because I've got so many t-shirts that some of them just never get worn. And I think this it was just a lucky pick out from the pile, but I tend to just have 7 shirts that I get through that are just in rotation, and then I wash the 7 shirts and then just wear them again. So yes, I mean, thank you for the offers and people wanting to send me t-shirts, but yeah, I've got absolutely plenty, and I don't I mean, if I had more, then they would just be sitting in my cupboard, and it'd be a bit of a waste of, you know, potentially interesting t-shirt. And if lots of people send them, then I can't wear them all at once, and then the ones that I used to wear won't get worn. And anyway, so yeah, it's just something that's been happening recently, the questions about my t-shirt size. But thank you for the thoughts. You don't have to get me anything. You're just watching. As I always say, just watching the channel, maybe hitting an occasional thumbs up is absolutely fantastic. So thank you guys for doing that. Right, we are going to be jumping into tonight's pick roulette. It's 6 minutes past 1. Actually, let's do some pictures because I know that we have got a few of those. Let me get the backdrop on screen. And first of all, we're going to be taking a look at Kevin. And this is Kevin and fellow winger Tracy, and they are outside. It's In-N-Out Burgers, a burger joint, something like that. And Kevin did send me pictures of the burgers, but I don't have those pictures, which is probably a good thing because I'm always hungry during the live streams, and yeah, looking at pictures of food during the live streams is probably a bad idea. But thank you for uploading this one, Kevin. And you know, thank you for wingers meeting up in real life, Kevin and Tracy. And just to quickly give Vince a shout out as well for linking me to Kevin's pictures. But yes, Kevin sends me his pictures as well. But thank you, Vince, for linking me to them just in case as well. Let me actually show Kevin again, because here we have a Kevin and Candice. So thank you for uploading this one as well, Kevin. And I think last but not least, we have this is, I think, Cooper in the background, the cat, and this is from Julie. So thank you, Julie, for uploading this picture, and obviously looking at some guy on the screen. Don't know who that is, but yeah, I'm not sure Cooper's finding this particularly interesting, but we are animal friendly on these live streams, so yeah, any animal is welcome to join us and watch. Not that they'll stay interested for any length of time, but thank you for uploading your pictures, but thank you Julie and Cooper for posing in this particular picture. But if you guys want to upload any pictures yourselves, then you can head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. That's where they're uploaded to, and then I get linked to them by Vince and Carla sometimes, and Laura. So thank you guys for linking me to pictures in the past. Right. Oh, we've still got the patreon.com/, an accidental, very long plug of the Patreon site, but there you go. We are going to be jumping into the pick roulette now. And I haven't picked a top tip. It's going to be another random one. So let's jump into it. And I'll see you guys in a second. Rock. So let's get the pick roulette wheel up on screen. And there it is. So if this is your first pick roulette, the darker segments here. Let me find my mouse icon pointer thing. These are the t-shirt segments, so if we land on one of those, then we have a t-shirt roulette. If we land on somebody's name, then they go away with a signed Wings of Pegasus pick. So let me pick somebody out at random. Autumn Piper is going to be the top tip for tonight, so apologies about that one. So let's give the wheel a spin and see who is going to win. I have a 0% record with, well, still I maintain it from since we started doing the pick roulette, but I did come really close recently. But unfortunately, I think the width of the line between actually picking the top tip, but there's got to be like at least a 1 in 100 chance with the amount of names. And there's Autumn Piper going past. So close yet so far, and we are slowing down. So we have Linda, Tom, Blind Snipers, or is it going to get as far as Colleen? It is Blind Snipers who is the winner for tonight. So congratulations to you, and probably not ideal if you're a sniper to be blind, but interesting username. If Blind Snipers can let themselves be known in that live chat room to Carla, that would be much appreciated, so that she can get everything from you that is required to get this Wings of Pegasus pick sent off to you. So congratulations, Blind Snipers. As I always say, you have to be in it to win it, so make sure you are in that live chat room when the pick roulette goes through and when it potentially might land on your name. Again, commiserations to Autumn Piper and everyone who didn't win tonight. So again, another thing that I always say is to double your chances of winning, make sure that you tune in not only on a Tuesday night but on a Saturday night as well, because that's when we live stream, and we do have a pick roulette there when we hit the likes goal target. And speaking of likes goal targets, 310 is what we were aiming for tonight. We're at 340, so it means that we have hit that target, and I'm now going to open the entries for next week's pick roulette. And in order to get your name on that wheel, this is what you want to do. Type I agree and tag Carla Murray in your comment like this. And that's oh, you probably didn't see it, but I smacked the microphone with it in its new position because it's in the way of me typing. So yeah, but I did hopefully type it correctly. Let me press enter, and yes, it is okay. So you're going to want to copy what I've done in the live chat room, but you're going to want to copy what everyone's doing pretty much. If this is your first live stream, or if this is your first time seeing the pick roulette and you want to get your name on next week's pick roulette, then make sure, or on next week's wheel, or the pick roulette wheel for next week, get your name on it by typing exactly what everyone's doing in the live chat room now. Just copy all of this. Make sure that you only type it once, please. Otherwise, your name, if you're typing it twice or 3 times or 4 times, then your name won't be on the pick roulette wheel. We just need to have it once. And I can see that lots of entries are going through there, which is great. And we are going to be calling things to a close relatively soon. Let me just get into the PayPal window, because I know there were some donations in there that I haven't looked at yet. So thank you, Carla, for this £5.43 pence donation, and that is a straight up donation as well. So thank you for that. And Marge has donated £1.61. So thank you for that, Marge. And the message is, my banjo is tuned to Open G. Not very good, but can do a lot of fun picking with not having make a chord. So thank you for that, Marge. And yes, so for people that don't know what Open G is, it's when you're tuning the strings to a chord already. Rather than having to put your fingers in a particular shape to get a chord, you can just play the strings and they'll give you a chord. So yes, something that you might know from, you know, the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb, he did exactly the same thing, tuned to open chords, so that when he was playing, you'll just see him push his first finger across the guitar, sometimes his second finger as well, where he'd apply pressure on his second finger with his first finger. But anyway, so it meant that he was changing chords just by holding down the strings in a line on the frets, because people that don't play guitar that don't really understand what he's doing, but he's just tuned to an open chord, which is something that you do for the majority of the time when you're playing slide as well. So when you slide up the guitar, the slide resting across the strings is going to give you a full chord, because of course the slide goes in a straight line. You can't, you know, slide two separate notes on separate frets at the same time. So yeah, that's what that's all about. Thank you for that, Marge. And just going to scroll up because there's also a donation from Kristen, who has donated £3. So thank you for that, and that is a straight up donation as well. So let's maybe start thinking about a riff of the week. Maybe if we've got time, it's 14 minutes past 1, so we might be able to squeeze this in right at the end of the live stream. And what I'm going to do is jump into my inbox to find the updated riff of the week list that Laura has sent me through, to make sure that we're not just listening to the same riffs. There are 100 of them, but we have been getting through them. So I'll wait for that to load up. And yeah, hopefully I can see that it is loading. It's just going to take a little bit of time. More importantly, I'm going to need a number from you guys in that live chat room to see which riff we are going to have a listen to tonight. And I can see that Dwayne is kicking things off saying 71. And we'll just be prepared to see lots of numbers now. And let me now go back to that list so I can start comparing to see 71 we have had recently, so we can't have number 71. Jennifer says 28. Dwayne says 71 again. 71. 71. So we've already had 71. So it means that it might be a bit of a cheat if people remember what it was. And I know for a fact that, yeah, number 71 was Voodoo Child, so by Jimi Hendrix. So that would be a very obvious one, and one we've had recently. So let's have a look. Okay, Jennifer says 28. And we haven't had number 28, so we might go for Jennifer's number tonight. Okay, we're going to go for number 28. So let me type in, actually, in there, riff of the week 28. And I'm going to click on it. And I always have to try and stop it before it starts playing. One of these days, and we have an advert on this one, so it means that I can watch the advert for you guys, so that you don't have to watch it. And I just have to wait for this to go through. Hopefully it's not one of these. I don't think it's a 30-second one. I think it was maybe, it's 15 seconds. So it's not too bad. And at least it gives me more of a chance to pause it when there's an advert at the beginning, because then it takes a little bit of time to load the video. Right, let me actually get this on screen, or attempt to get this on screen for you guys as well, so that you can see what's going on. There we go. Right, we're going to jump into this. We'll have a listen. I'll see if I can remember it, but we're just looking for whatever this riff is, and it's riff of the week. So if you can name the riff, the song that the riff is from, that would be great. Artist name or band is optional. Let's have a listen. It's going to be an easy one. And there we had it with optional dive bomb at the end. I should say harmonic then dive bomb. So, I mean, let me get this off the screen because, I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but a lot of people will know why I've got the video off the screen, so you can see my t-shirt, and I can see actually we had lots of, I can see everyone's already saying Highway to Hell, AC/DC. So let me scroll up to see when they started coming through. Robert says sounds like the intro to Rainbow, and scrolling down still, and Orlando said Highway to Hell. I think that was the first one, so congratulations to Orlando. Rad Flying V was on the right kind of path, saying Back in Black. It was close, and Jennifer said All Right Now, which you know is close, but yeah, no cigar with that. And when I say is close, I'm saying that on the A, if you just heard the first part, then yeah, you could think that might have been a really early guess, just hearing the first chord and then saying All Right Now. But it was indeed Highway to Hell. I'm just going to scroll down to see what else we've got. Carla says Highway to Hell. Selena as well. And again, Jennifer was saying All Right Now. So yeah, same chord, but obviously only the first chord. And Back in Black, again, people got the AC/DC vibe, but I think pretty much Orlando was the first, but we're getting a lot. Teresa says Highway to Heal, or should I say Highway to He Will. So thank you for that, Teresa. So congratulations to you guys that got it right. And yeah, it's not really commiserations to those who didn't get it, because it's just a bit of fun at the end of the live stream, and just to see. There hasn't yet been one that I can't remember what it is, but there are 100 riffs, and I'm sure there might be some obscure ones in there, so I have to try and rack my own memory to see if I know what it is, to know if anybody then guesses it correctly or not. But so far we've been okay. So I'm just going to jump into the super chat window, because I know that there has been a few donations in there. Thank you guys for these. We are going to be calling things to a close very soon. Carol donated $10. Thank you for that, Carol. And the message is, a while ago you discussed runs, and on that note I wondered if sometime in the future you would check out runs in Hamilton, Joe, Frank and Reynolds, winners and losers, and Dan Fogelberg's last nail. So thank you for that, Carol. And yes, I'll make a note of that. And yeah, sometimes I talk about riffs and runs, and hopefully people know what I mean when I say those, with riffs like single notes, or I mean pretty much with a riff you can have a chord shape as well with single notes in there, referred to as riffs, and then runs are a series of notes that follow each other. But anyway, thank you for that, Carol. And Orlando has donated $2 and says rest in peace Tom Petty, with a heart. So thank you for that, Orlando. Stardust Unicorn support band to Wings Pegasus donated $2 as well. Thank you for that, and says I volunteer for the pick roulette. So obviously that came in before the pick roulette. And Orlando donated $2 just now and says you wore the right t-shirt. So yes, indeed I did. Again, total fluke that I haven't worn this t-shirt in ages, if at all. And then we have AC/DC as the riff of the week. So what are the chances? Right, we are going to be calling things to a close now. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I'm going to be back with another analysis video tomorrow night and Friday night. And then we're going to be live streaming again on Saturday night as always. So if you could join me on a Saturday night, that would be fantastic. If not, then I'll see you at the analysis videos, of which there are always 3 a week. We have Wednesday, Friday and Sundays, a couple of live streams. But yeah, if you've been watching for any length of time, then you'll know the schedule and what we do week in, week out. But thank you guys for joining me tonight. Big shout out to the moderators for doing such a fantastic job throughout these live streams and for dedicating their time to them as well. Hopefully everybody can stay sane and as safe as possible and as cool as possible. If you're here in the UK, then you're up very late, but hopefully you can deal with the heat that we're having. But hopefully nowhere else has got kind of extreme weather. It's not too extreme, just a little bit uncomfortable. So I will see you guys at tomorrow night's video. As I said, stay safe and sane if you can, and I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock.